Hello, everyone. The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip. And actually, I'm going to read a different review. So this is from Robert Daniels for Polygon, who says about the reveal. The reveal turns the film's entire conceit into a disrespectful, cruel mockery of the history it's exploring. In the most heavy-handed way, Bush and Rins equate current racial oppression with the horrific crime of forced servitude, and turns the somber history of slavery into a cruel game. And their film's seeming body horror is just a masked version of ordinary violence.
Yep.
I know we're building the bulk of this episode around other people's reviews, but it's just like, I feel like they're phrasing it better than I could.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think part of that is the power of the written word where you can, get it right. But also because I think that these are people who, I honestly can't imagine what it would be like to see a queer version of this just played out endlessly over decades of cinematic. Just let's re-explore the trauma over and over and over again. And then you get a shit movie like this that comes out and tries to tell you that it's fancy and timely and it's going to do something. And you're just like, oh, actually you're giving me the same old fucking shit. And particularly, I'm sorry, maybe if this movie had to come out in 2019, we would all be talking about it differently. But this is tone fucking deaf in the wake of Black Lives Matter.
Well, yes. Now, granted, it was gonna be released, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just an act of God saying, movie, you deserve this.
It wouldn't have been good before, but it's especially bad after.
But I do want to mention this. So, you and I will never know what it's like to be a black person sitting in a theater watching a slavery movie. You know,
No.
To watch black people be beaten, raped, abused because of their blackness. The closest, but let's make the queer version of Antebellum. The first act of this movie is us watching that opening scene of It Chapter 2 for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But add in, anal raping with, broomsticks and stuff, you know?
Yeah, or the conversion therapy sequence from American Horror Story, which is, 5 minutes long? Yeah, stretch that to feature length.
Yeah. So, while it is not the same, that is the only comparison I have for, even moderately trying to understand what it feels like to be a black person watching this movie, or any slavery movie for that matter, really. But it's just phrased that like that for me, I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah. It's a hard no, and then it gets passed off well, this is entertainment, and it's also educational entertainment. The idea that anyone would make this movie thinking that this is going to instigate productive conversation. What is it that this movie is saying about race relations in the year 2020 or 2019?
But that's where the caricatures come out, though, because even the modern day racists in this movie, they are the exact same as the racists in the antebellum time period. So it doesn't say anything about racism today at all.
No, it's suggesting that a racist is a racist is a racist, regardless of whether you're talking about 100 years or 50 years or present day.
But I also think it does such a disservice, though, because one of the big arguments that racists have, is especially against systemic racism, is that it doesn't exist. How is that possible?
I mentioned The Hunt earlier, and I don't want to reignite old debates that we've had. If people want to listen, there's a whole episode on The Hunt and why I didn't care for it. In a different light, I actually almost wonder if this movie would have benefited from more of a Hunt-like perspective. I don't think that you can be glib about slavery. It's just not a subject that lends itself to that. But this movie is so heavy-handed in its desperateness to say, look at how racist white people are, and look at how innocent black bodies are, but then it also wants to punish the black bodies, and it wants to make the white people femme fatales. I almost wonder if some kind of satirical version could have done what these filmmakers were trying to accomplish. I don't know, but the way that they went about this with this reveal, and then this super fucking phony climax where we're meant to revel in Veronica's
escape. It's so bare bones, right? So we have like 40 minutes of the first act, we have about 35 minutes of Act 2, so it's 75 minutes. It's a 105-minute movie, minus 5 for credit, so you have 25 minutes of this last act. So it's the shortest of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly just, of course, revealing the time period.
Sure.
And just, it's like, it's her escape, but it's not even that suspenseful. Like, I was never really for one. I mean, I guess, like, we have the whole bit where, like, Eli sacrifices himself to save her, so it's more violence against black people.
But wait, Trace, you're overlooking that part where her yoga training pays off so that she can make her escape outside of her cottage without stepping on a creaky floorboard.
I will confess that I did write in my notes. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, God. She's spider walking out of the cottage.
Yep, yes, she was. So, yeah, I mean, she gets away, and then we have Jenna Malone, who has Rebecca Gayhearted her hair, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Just looking flawless.
And she's just going after her on a horse.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.